This conference will now be recorded.
Globalization of Ayurveda, that is Ayurveda Sarvabhaumatwa. In this topic, we are supposed to discuss regarding Ayurveda propagation or situation of Ayurveda, or how Ayurveda is present or was present in the countries which are nearby to India. So one by one, we will start discussing about the situation of Ayurveda. So आयुर्वेद का सार्वभौमत्व यानी आयुर्वेद के विषय में अन्य नजदीक लोकेट हुए जो भी देश है, अन्य देश है, उनमें किस तरीके से आयुर्वेद का प्रचार प्रसार या स्थिति है। जैसे हम उसका इतिहास बताते हैं, नियर अबाउट आयुर्वेद का इतिहास 5000 ईयर से, और अन्य देशों में वो किस प्रकार से मौजूद था, उसकी चर्चा आज हम करने वाले हैं। ठीक है। So we will discuss about the globalization of Ayurveda. So we all know that it is the one of the oldest system of medicine in the world, existing since from the creation of the universe. We have many times learned that Brahma Smritva Ayusho Vedam Prajapati Majikata means the Brahma also memorized it. So the generation or the tradition of Indian system of medicine, that is Ayurveda, is more than 5000 years old. So as India had trade relation with various countries, and Indian tradition, culture, civilization and medicine influenced the people of other countries also. Hence, the popularity of Ayurveda spread in Misr, that is Egypt, China, Thailand, Tibet, Sri Lanka, Nepal, etc. So, this popularity increasing day by day all over the world, along with associated science like yoga, naturopathy, etc. So, this will be the scenario of today's lecture. Now, the first, we are going to see how Ayurveda is in Misr, Egypt, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Cambodia, and Thailand, especially. So, the Misr, which we know now the name of Egypt, the city or the country of pyramids, we will discuss about it. Now, this is little bit a historical review about the Misra Desh, that is Egypt. That evidences shows about the medicine in this Misra Desha is around 3000 years before century. Since early days, Egyptians were aware of preparation of calendar, algebra, geometry, medicine, etc. Now, in our context, the medicine traces were present from 3000 BC. So, Imhotep was an Egyptian polymath who served under the third dynasty king, Djoser, as a chancellor to the Pharaoh and high priest of the son of God, Ra at Heliopolis. Now, we feel these names or terms sometimes a little bit difficult, but we have to memorize it. He is considered to be the first engineer, architect, and musician also. He became much popular as god of healing and constructed temple for him at Memphis, Theben, and at Pila by the people of Egypt around 500 BC. Now, this Misra, according to in context with Ayurveda, it is important that we found papyrus, which is from Misra. That papyrus is nothing but like a old scripture or a manuscript in which many medicinals are described, and those medicines are in the form of herbs which are similar with Ayurveda, that is Indrayana, then pomegranate, alasi, So, ilaichi, lasoon, eranda, ajamoda, dhattur, these etc. herbs are described. And from minerals, they have sindura, tukha, gandha, these etc. All those medicinal herbs and the minerals, they have mentioned in the papyrus that they were imported from India, that is Bharat, Chin, Sri Lanka, etc. So papyrus has mentioned it. As well as a medical science, some references are important which are similar with the Ayurveda, such as after sacrificing animals, as well the death of human, they are supposed to be, give some lepa or fat to preserve it. And these things are similar with the Ayurveda procedure somehow. Now, so the terminology srotas, which is described as srotas in Ayurveda, is similar concept, that is petu, which is described in these Egyptian scriptures, as well as they have also mentioned a procedure similar with the basti, that is medicated enema. Now, this medicated enema, they are not described for the humans, but they have quoted an observation that there was a bird which name was ibis, and this ibis bird was supposed to give enema or basti himself. Along with this basti, they have also described about Rakta Mokshana procedure also. Thus, we can find similarity of some procedures in Ayurveda. As well, they have a similar structure of importing some medicinal herbs as well as the minerals. After Misra, we will go towards the next country, that is Nepal. You know that Nepal is very nearby to us, and that's why there are many such things which are very similar with our Ayurveda culture in India. So that's why here we will go some of its more importances Ayurveda in Nepal. So we know that we have many similar things, and this is the one of the declared Hindu country in whole world. And national status they have given to Ayurveda in Nepal. Then Tribhuvan University of Kathmandu has Ayurvedic College, which is offering the degree course in Ayurveda. Rajguru Pandit Hemraj Sharma, who have edited Kashyapa Samhita, was belongs to Nepal. We have seen this about Kashyapa Samhita in history chapter. After that, Ayurvedic medicine has used effectively from many years from Nepal. They are practicing, even though Panchakarma are very popular, and medical tourism, especially Ayurveda tourism, is very flourished in Nepal. And they are regularly using Ayurveda as Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshana. So Nepal is a full of with many herbs, greeneries, and so it is popular and easily favorable atmosphere for Ayurveda in Nepal. So after that, we will see the Sri Lanka. We know Lanka from historic period, where God and King Rama went and brought goddess, his wife Sita, back. So Sri Lanka is the Aryans. We have to very similar structure also. They said like that the Aryans came from North India to Sri Lanka before century 500 to 800 years. Before that, there was no human uh, evidences before that period. So this is historical review about Sri Lanka. After 3rd century, before century, sorry, they played a main role in influencing of the culture and civilization of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Actually, Buddhism flourished in 6th century very well. Formerly, the ancient Sri Lanka were believed to be tribal region. By teaching Buddhist culture, it changed the physical and mental behavior of Sri Lanka community. We can say tribal behavior or the culture, it changed to be a little bit civilized physically and mentally. The ancient kings who were followers of Lord Buddha look after well-being of the people, and system of health services prevailed in Sri Lanka. So the Sri Lanka is again like Nepal, it is very adjacent to us, and that's why uh, the cultural and the civilization export and import were happened since from many years. King Dutu Gamanu and King Parakramabahu, they built hospitals for the sick people. King Buddhadasa performed surgical treatments. So these references are there that this tradition of taking care of the health of the people were flourished from those areas in Sri Lanka also. The Buddhist monks themselves were the traditional physician. Nowadays, after post-independent education of Ayurveda, we have learned that the universities and colleges took part in the well, but still before that in India also there was the tradition, Guru Shishya Parampara. And the one person was the expert in one field as well in another also. And that's why the Raja Bhoj was also the same thing, that he was the king also and very much learned person also, and he was having the knowledge of Ayurveda also. So the Buddhist monk, the self-traditional physician, they were played the role. And they had many Ayurvedic hospital and private resorts where Ayurvedic treatment was given. At the present, two Ayurvedic medical college offering BMS degree in Sri Lanka. So this is the situation of Ayurveda in Sri Lanka present scenario. Okay, now there's many doctors from India also. They were practicing as a visiting professor and a doctor, physician, also export of medicines also is going on in very well in Nepal also and in uh, that is Sri Lanka also. After that, we have a special country that is called Cambodia. Now, historically, you can see that the map is in front of your screen. That is the Cambodia. At that time, the Raipur was the capital of Cambodia. It was situated with the area in now we are calling about the Pakistan. Beyond that, the Gandhara was there, and after that, the Cambodia was there. So this was the situation of Cambodia. The King Jaivarma II of Cambodia during 1881 AD established more than 102 hospitals throughout his kingdom. Now, this is a very big figure as compared to the area. So that the dedication of this King Jaivarma II was very important towards the health. The king had given much encouragement to Ayurveda. Along with other subjects, Ayurveda was also taught in Cambodia. Now, in modern area, means today's era, Ayurvedic massage centers, Panchakarma centers, meditation centers were well established in this Cambodia. Now, next to that is the Thailand. Now, we know that the Thailand is again Asian country and close to India. And the people of Thailand believed that the Kumara Bhacha was profounder of medicine. Now, who was the Kumara Bhacha? Do you remember? In our text, we have in Kashyapa Samhita, we have learned that the Jivaka was having Kumara Bhacha another name. And Kumara Bhacha was expert in specially pediatric branch. And the Thailand is worshipping him as a god or propounder of medicine. The miracles of the medicine and surgery of Jivaka were extensively described in Buddhist works. Hence, they believed that Jivaka was propounder of medicinal science. King Chola Longkorn was fifth king of Chakri dynasty of Thailand, and he is regarded as one of the greatest king of Siam, and he is also called by Thais as the great beloved king. Now, those references are important to show how the relationship of India and the other countries were maintaining from since many more years or ancient times. Ramavi conducted an international seminar on medicine, and the proceedings were published in Vaidya Shastra Sangraha. Books were published on the subjects of Dravyaguna and Marma Vigyana, medical journal titled Vaidya Karma Sandesh in Thai language. Ayurveda influenced the development of the medicine in Thailand. Now see, now in Thailand, in Nepal or in Sri Lanka is not as it is the word is used. Especially in Thailand, they call Thai medicine. In China, they call no Chinese medicine. So or traditional TSM they call traditional TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. Like so, what is Ayurveda? So Ayurveda is a science of life, and using many more natural products or natural things in natural way in cognizance with the nature, and accordingly with the nature's changes we have to adapt those changes for our health. So if this basically is the theme line of any medicine, then that medicine is close with the Ayurveda science. Thus, the globalization of Ayurveda is present. So, if you have some questions, please continue your questions.